That's okay. Yeah. Sorry. I should have known. Anyway, welcome. It's 4 o'clock. We're at the Carson City Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Directors meeting. It's Monday, October 14th. We're in the Carson City Community Center, Robert Bob Kroll Boardroom. Can I get a roll call, Linda?
Yes, Mike Jones,
Here.
Andrew Reno, Stacy Giomi, Kitty McKay.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask for any public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, approval of the minutes of the September 9th, 2024 CTA board meeting. Any board members need any changes or corrections? No?
No, I'll move to approve the meeting minutes of the September 9, 2024 CTA meeting as presented.
Second?
A second.
Favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Hearing none. Motion passes. Next takes us to the consent agenda. Would any member of the public like anything pulled individual item from the consent agenda for individual review? Any member of the board like anything pulled? If not, can I get a motion?
Sure, I'll move to approve the consent agenda consisting of items 6 and 7 as presented.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, item 9, presentation and discussion regarding the calendar year 2022-2023 Carson City Visitor Profile Presentation. David, you want to lead us through this?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Jones. For the record, David Peterson, Executive Director with Visit Carson City. So this is our domestic visitor profile study. We aggregate 2 calendar years together to come up with a sample size on this. So it's calendars 22 and 23. I'm just going to hit the highlights and do a little compare and contrast relative to the 21-22 profile. So happy to say that number 1, with the average non-gaming gaming trip expenditure, that increased from $1,085 to $1,315. So that's good news on that front. Travel party size bumped up from 2.8 to 3.4. So that's another positive. I won't go through all of the different sources. Percentages kind of change, things flip-flop a little bit, but nothing really stuck out to me on that front. Dining, still sits up at the top with casino resorts, so kind of similar situation there. On number 10 for top 5 primary purposes for the trip to Nevada, happy to say road trip, as you see in there, pops in. That was not in last year's top 5. So that's a good thing. Travel Nevada promotes road trips. Obviously, we're on the Tahoe Loop, so I think that ties in with a lot of what we talk about coming down from the lake, coming down from Reno into Carson City. And then I'll just point out on our top 5 MSAs, Metropolitan Statistical Areas of Origin, that Phoenix now popped in as number 5. So that replaced Chico Redding from 21-22's profile. And we do advertising in Phoenix, so I'm happy to see that that's popped up there into the top 5. Let me see, what did I want to say on this one?
Yeah, but is this on our
Yeah.
website or will it be posted?
It is.
It is. Now.
Yeah, so this is on the visitcarsoncity.biz, and then it's under our research section. So it's all, Lydia was kind enough to put it up there. So it's on the website. And then shared economy pops in on 15 modes within the state as well. So that's new to that particular list. And then, what did I want to point out here? So age breakdown, very similar. We bumped up a little bit in the 35 to 44 category, a couple of percentage points, but those things don't really change too much in there. So I'm happy to answer any questions if the board has any on the profile. And again, this is a domestic visitor profile.
Questions for David? No? A lot of good information.
For sure, yeah. It's nice to see that some of our efforts are paying off in terms of some changes that we saw adding the 23 data in, especially from a market perspective on the origin of folks. So, and we're working still, from the analytics platform perspective with Datafy. So again, this is based on managed panel data that comes via Travel Nevada through Omnitrack. So a little different, right? Because these are people who are responding after completing, whatever month of travel during the year and identifying that they had visited Carson City at some point during a prior month, and then obviously a 2-year run. So a little bit different than what we do with our mobile tracking. So it's something that Lydia and I are working on right now, and Stu and Eric for that matter, just to see what the mobile traffic looks like as well. Again, mobile doesn't count the people or anything like that, so it's a little bit of a different situation, but it's good to just kind of see how the two different platforms line up. So more to come on the Datafy side of things.
All right. Next, we'll move on to item 10, which I'll let everybody know is late material. It was posted on the website last week, and if you need a copy, it's on the back of the table in the room. But for possible action, discussion, and possible action regarding ratification of the submission of an application to the Nevada Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs, Division of Tourism, for the 3D Cultural Corridor Grant with no local match. Develop the arts and culture scene as an added element in a multifaceted tourism economy to attract and engage visitors to Carson City, Carson Valley, and Virginia City. And authorization for the executive director to accept the grant and execute the grant contract. Eric, I think you're going to lead us through, but this is big news. This is exciting, and I want to say thank you to everybody who put the effort into it. Everybody's pointing towards Eric, so.
Eric Brooks for the record. This was a complete team effort from the entire CTA staff, along with key members, in particular Erica Perry from Virginia City and Brian Fitzgerald from Carson Valley. It was a great team all the way around, 23 stakeholders all in all. We've been giving you updates over the past year. I inherited this project last November, so it's been going on for quite a while. So here is the beginning of another 10 years of updates to come. Travel Nevada created the 3D project, its statewide destination development initiative, in the spring of 2022 to reimagine rural Nevada's attraction for travelers in new and exciting ways and to lay a foundation for incorporating destination development into its mission. In October 2022, 3 Northern Nevada destination organizations, Visit Carson City, Visit Carson Valley, and the Virginia City Tourism Commission, proposed to collaborate in development of a new cultural corridor to build a local arts and culture economy and attract year-round cultural travelers. Visit Carson City submitted the original proposal and became the agency of record moving forward. In November 2023, the first of 3 community forums were held at the Nevada State Museum. National consultants and Travel Nevada staff led a discussion to draw insights from residents. Future forums were held in Minden and Virginia City over the next 6 months. A regional 23-member steering committee made up of artists, community leaders, government agencies, lodging properties, and business owners met regularly to help develop the 10-year plan. A rough draft was assembled in August of 2024, and a final grant submission for $688,000 was sent to Travel Nevada on September 15th, 2024. A recommendation for $631,350 was approved on October 8th by the Nevada Division of Tourism. The Cultural Corridor has significant opportunities to spark a collaborative spirit among the region's arts community. develop the regional creative economy, and enhance itineraries that showcase a mix of experiential arts and culture charms. A representative from each region has formed a working group and will collaborate with Travel Nevada and the Nevada Arts Council to select an executive director to facilitate a new nonprofit organization. This director will convene a board of directors composed of steering committee members and stakeholders throughout the region. The grant award comes in 2 installments. The first half will be issued upon Visit Carson City's signing and returning the grant agreement papers. The second half will be requested when the first installment has been spent. All funding must be utilized by October 8th, 2026. Visit Carson City must abide by all applicable conditions of Travel Nevada and the National EDA guidelines for disbursements of funds as laid out in the approved proposal. So we got nearly double every other cohort in this first round that Travel Nevada has put forward. They now have the third cohort open for submission, so this is something that they're going to be moving forward with. So we're in a very unique opportunity to have this money, although it's going to be spread throughout the region, it's going to have one focus, and that's to bring more people to our entire area, and in particular for us here in Carson City. I'm happy to entertain any questions. There's plenty of time.
Again, on the website, I didn't look. If it's not, will it be posted on the plan? I just want to talk it up at the board meeting, and I think it would be helpful to have the plan
Oh, yes.
somewhere on our website so that we can,
So
people
Stacy,
can refer to it and look
Yes,
at it.
it is there under this particular board meeting as one of the links.
Yeah.
But were you thinking, is it under the resources
I'm
section?
thinking it's kind of a big enough deal that maybe we should just have a spot dedicated to it where we're tracking the progress of the goals.
Certainly.
I mean, I think it seems pretty reasonable that we could list those goals out,
Yeah.
the action steps, and I think it'll give everyone in the region the ability to, and maybe one of the formations is a regional website that regionally we use. I mean, maybe that's something you guys come up with in the discussion of this, but absent that, it would be nice, I think, if we had it there and sort of put the objectives particularly and the tasks and sort of talked about progress as we make it.
I like that idea, and I'm thinking maybe we put it under because these two, Lydia and Eric, revised the arts and culture section of the website, so maybe that's a good place to put the 10-year plan. And to answer your question, yes, one of the requirements that was in there was to develop not only well, I should have let you answer that, Eric. I apologize. You go ahead. Are you sure? Okay, let me finish my thought and then you jump in. To create a new regional culture corridor website as well as an in-web app, similar to what we did with KCT inside of visitcarsoncity.com. So that's actually in the application. It was a part of the 10-year plan, and it was also funded by the Commission on Tourism. So yeah, there's some cool things forthcoming with this whole concept. And just for the record, today it's called the Cultural Corridor. We are going to go through a brand exercise. That's also something that was included in the application. It's funded, so it may be, we'll call it something else depending on the outcomes of that brand exercise. And some research too was funded in here as well. So that'll all help to kind of shape, what we end up calling this.
Well, and
thing.
putting it there gives everyone, whether they're private entities or Carson City or Story County, the ability to look at whether what they may be doing or maybe something that, his property is doing might fit into that category if it gives them the ability to look it over. So
Almost like
yeah, I
an
think that'd be
update,
great.
right? Newsletter. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Stacy, do you need that to be put onto a different location on the website prior to Thursday? Or can you work with the
Well,
link?
no, I was thinking tomorrow by noon, but
Okay, perfect.
whatever,
Okay.
Dave.
Lydia, are you listening
Just
to
kidding.
Mayor Pro Tem Giomi? Okay,
Just kidding.
noon Tuesday.
No,
We'll have it there
no,
some way, yes.
It does, no, just the fact that that I can talk it up at the board meeting and that the plan and particularly the action steps will be there at some point
Yep.
in the not too distant future.
Yeah, and it was very specific
Because
process.
it's a lot and it's, it's kind of hard to recap this in the 2 minutes I get at the end of a board meeting to talk about all of our,
Right.
committees and commissions. But it,
Yeah.
it needs its due in places other than just at this meeting. So,
Agreed.
you know,
Thank you for bringing that forward on the Board of Supervisors level, because these guys did a lot of work on this. I can't thank them enough for the work, and Eric obviously inherited something
Yeah.
coming into play, and just working with our partners. And I mean, Chris saved us as well with the 80-something pages of budget documentation that we had to provide to back up the actual request as well the week before, we submitted. So they did a wonderful job, and our partners were great too. So,
well, I think it's clear from the amount of money we got as compared to everybody else that they thought a lot of the plan that you all put together, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't have funded it to that level. And it makes me feel good to see us working together with our adjoining counties. And, I think back 20 years when we were fighting over sales tax and who was going to have car dealers and battling over ridiculous things like that ended up hurting all the counties. And just the fact that we can work together on something like this is wonderful. So, yeah.
and then Chair, could I just add one? Oh, can I just add the one thing that I need to just make mention of? In the late material, on the page 1, there's a bold section in there, members, where it specifically said on the original one, the full grant award must be expended and reporting completed by the awardee. The original one, it said no later than January 30th, 2026. I received an updated version from Travel Nevada staff that allows this to go for the full 2 years, which is through October 8th, 2026. So DA Reese said it would be okay if I just mentioned that on the record. I have a corrected version with the whole DocuSign thing that was sent to me late on Friday, but I just wanted to make that one mention on the record. So that gives us the full 2 years from the date of the Commission on Tourism meeting last week to expend those funds according to the plan. And sorry, Chair, but I just wanted to get that on the record.
Before we go any further, Linda, let the record reflect that Board Member Both has joined the meeting.
Yes, on the record.
Thank you. Any other questions for Eric or David? If not, can we get a motion?
Yeah, I'm happy to make it. I move to approve the authorization for the executive director to accept the grant and execute the grant contract with change noted on the record to the expiration or expenditure of funds of October 8, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll move on to item 11, monthly non-action items. David, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And thank you, guys, for approving this. It's going to be very exciting. So I think some really cool things are going to, not that they aren't already happening, but next couple of years are going to be amazing. So great work to the team on this one. 3 quick things on my update for all of you. 11A, Executive Director's update. On the V&T front, long line trains come to an end this weekend. Polar Express, we still have coach and deluxe coach tickets on sale. The only ticket types that sold out immediately were the other 4 VIP-based tickets. So there's been some confusion out there with the public that all tickets were sold out, and that is not the case. And then I want to just reiterate that you can only purchase these tickets through vtrailway.com. So if you're seeing tickets on Facebook or social media sites, those are scams, and they've already been popping up out there. So just wanted to make mention of that. We will have our media partner night. That'll take place on Thursday, November 14th. We'll run all 3 trains like we do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5, 6:30, and 8. And we have specifically dedicated the 8 p.m. run to first responders who put out the Davis fire this year. So we're letting them take over that train, so to speak, at 8 p.m. on the 14th. So you all will get your invitation. It'll be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. A second quick update, we're finalizing the audit, so that should be coming forward to you all next month on the 15th. And then last but not least, I've been invited to speak on a panel at this year's Governor's Conference on Tourism later this month with my peers from the RSCVA and Visit Lake Tahoe. And it is a cool, I think, topic. It's regarding collaborative success and emerging trends in Northern Nevada from a tourism perspective. So excited to have that opportunity. So with that, that's my update this month. Any questions? Happy to address them. Okay, hearing none, I'll go ahead and move on to 11B, transient occupancy tax actual versus forecast. That's the big sheet in your packet. We did get all the actuals in for July. Came in at 3.64 million. First column there, if you go down to the FY25 forecast, 3.64 million. We were up about 6.7% relative to budget and 5.62% relative to July 2023. Still working on some stragglers for August, but August looks to be doing very well as well, about 6.8% ahead of budget projected right now, and a little over 5.7% as compared to August of 2023. Now, I have not changed anything going through the end of the year, and I just wanted to make mention that Mike's property, he's pipping the property as of 9/22, so he's got 50 rooms out of service. In addition, I'll let Mike talk about his property, of course, but in addition, the Federal is down 42 rooms doing a renovation as of 9/25. And so I know that these renovations will take place in phases, probably through the spring, I should think, or hopefully not past late spring. But we are going to have 92 rooms out of inventory for the next few months. And I don't know, Mike, if you want to add anything there.
No, I can't speak for the Federal, but yeah, we'll be down. We're down. We have 82 rooms online right now through the end of December, and then January we'll go down to 58 rooms online and finish it. But Goldust West won't finish the project till May. Happy to answer any questions on it.
Yeah, any questions from the board on 11B? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead. Lydia, oh, perfect. Let's move on to 11C, Arts and Culture Update. Mr. Brooks, take it away.
Eric Brooks for the record. We had an exciting October, so we'll talk about some of the things. Karen Yank, Sense of Place update. The BAC Satellite Gallery, the second installation that we have, is fantastic. Rosita Todorova. She's from Bulgaria, but has been in Northern Nevada for for most of her adult life. And it has been a great influence on her artwork. This is a beautiful show, so we have it up for the quarter. We'll have a reception on November 8th from 5 to 7, so the public is welcome to come to that. It's free. Then we're going to talk about murals and music. So page 3, we have the finished rendition of Karen Yank's Sense of Place. It is finished. It's ready to be sandblasted, and then the Corten steel will go through a process to rust, and the installation is planned for mid-November. Some of Karen's smaller works will be on display at Brewery Arts Center from mid-October, and that is now changed to later October, and available to view, purchase until the sculpture is installed. And she's also going to be doing an artist talk and a dinner. So lots of opportunities for the public to interact with her, understand more about her bigger picture of the artwork she makes and why she made this piece specific for Carson City. I think it looks fantastic. Super excited to have it come. The next process is they're going to be pouring the cement slab, and then while the piece is resting, the cement will harden, and then set your alarm clocks, because around 3 a.m. after we get the date, that's about when they'll be installing it, when it's nice and quiet.
Do you know when they're pouring the concrete? Have you,
There's still no date for the concrete pour, and there's no official date of when
the install?
she will be here or the install, it's a fluid arrangement at this point. She had won't go through the whole story, but the contractor, she had a hard time finding a contractor in Nevada. So her New Mexico contractor went through all the requirements to become certified in Nevada. So that held up the process a little bit, and now they're just going through the logistics of getting that done. But it needs to be before the end of the month. For the
end of November.
They want the cement to be installed before
By
the end of
this month.
October.
Gotcha.
Great. So our satellite gallery with a collaboration of Brewery Art Center is moving forward. We didn't know how taking away those beautiful fabrics was going to work because they fit so well, but it turns out that Rosita gave us some beautiful paintings, and that space is just, it displays work so, so well. And we're very thankful that we've been able to move up there and have it. So we have we have 6 paintings and then several smaller works in graphite on paper. So those are some of the pieces there.
Everyone, I saw it the other day. Stop by and take a look. It looks great.
It's stunning,
Really
yeah.
presents well.
And then since we have access to the lobby, this is a sculpture piece that she did. It was the first, the most large-scale piece that she's ever created, and it was placed in the initial Sparks public art program. They had 7 small installations throughout the Victorian Square area. That was on a rotation basis, so it came down out of there, and we were able to bring it to our office. So we'll have it for her quarter, and then we're going to keep it for another 3 months after that. And we're currently looking for some partnerships around town to where we could place it permanently in our public art collection. It's only $8,000, everybody. And then some of the smaller pieces, these graphite pieces, they range from $120 to $280. I just want to put some of those price points in. People can see how accessible original artwork is here from a major Nevada artist.
And these are also with the oils or the canvas works?
Yep, so we have 2 walls of the graphite pieces, and then the major wall and the secondary wall are paintings. All right, recap. Carson City Murals and Music. Hopefully everyone was able to enjoy some of that. And the good news is if you were under the weather or out of town or otherwise occupied, the festival's over, but all of the proceeds are still there for your enjoyment. This first image is very Kit Carson, and that's the artist there taking a picture of it, Josie Rock out of Reno. So to give you a little bit of background, you already know that it's Kit Carson, and of course that's the sculpture of Kit Carson that we have here. A great portrait of him. How about those, any guesses on the flowers? Starts with monkey, if that helps out. So that's what's so fun with working with these artists is they go into this deep research, and he found this flower that grows here and put it up on the wall, and nobody's ever heard of it so far. So
Yeah, actually, we it came into our radar. It's monkey flower, correct?
yes,
It came into our radar when we had to do the design of the trail on the west side of Prison Hill because it's one of the places it grows. And someone filed with the state a concern that it was extinct. But apparently there's a name, I have to go back and look at it. It's like it's a specific strain of monkey flower that only grows in this region. So I don't remember if it's a Gardnerville monkey flower, Carson Valley monkey flower. The common name has a prefix to it that is inherent in this area. Yeah, not many people are going to know that that's monkey flower, but apparently it's prevalent in Carson Valley and in several places in Carson City, including Prison Hill and the Sierras as well.
that's great. Thank you for that info. And then the Carson River coming down the middle there. And then he did an artistic interpretation of the 1864 silver dollar as a double imprint to make it even more valuable.
What building is this on?
This is the Nevada Builders Alliance, north facing on
I
Carson.
haven't noticed that yet. That's great. Okay.
So just go through some bullet points. We'll do the final report next month. This picture is from another Reno artist, Doomed to Movement, one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet. He did the piece this is the 220 Williams Street, just east of Plumas Bank. So he did the kind of cartoony graphic piece last year, kind of robotic, and he did it all 4 garage doors this year. You'll have to go by there and enjoy those. So this year we had 24 muralists. They created 21 new murals. So that difference in numbers, we had 3 artists who had assistants, one of which was Javi Corte from Spain that we'll talk about a little bit more, and we talked about last month. 2 international artists. Our artist from Mexico was unable to come. She got trapped in the hurricane and wrote it out there, so we missed her, but she's safe. 6 out-of-state artists, 13 local artists. We had 27 collaborating partners and sponsors, which I'm really proud of. The community really came out to support this event. And 60,000 paid to participating musicians and artists, and that's more than double what we were able to do last year. So that's a huge jump.
And those funds come from where? The sponsors, but is there any CTA money in that?
CTA supported this event with $10,000 financially and then some in-kind donations.
And the remainder was from sponsorships?
Yeah,
is
sponsorships,
that-
private donations.
One-
Yeah, the main, Department of Cultural and Tourism Affairs chipped in. The Nevada Arts Council was a primary sponsor. The Orchard House Foundation, which is based out of Washoe County, has supported several of these events, and they came in at a larger number this year. And then we had lots of smaller donations. And all of those, if you want to pick up a map, all of those partners, logos are on here, and then their logos and links are on our website. So we want to give as much back to them as they've given to us. The smallest donation was $100 from a mom and pop business, and then the most that we received was $15,000, and that was from Travel Nevada, and that's the first time we've worked with them. So it's great that they're coming on board. 10 musical performances at 5 different venues, and here's the big number: $278,000 value of public art was added to our collection this year, and that was done on a budget of less than $100,000. And then the educational outreach, we had 115 Fritch Elementary School students come on a field trip to meet Jen Charbonneau. She was painting at the new antique mall, Carson Antique and Collectibles Mall, the old grocery outlet. She gave a short lecture, answered questions, and each student was allowed to paint on her Ichthyosaurus skeleton, which is super fun. Jen's great. She always has an outreach like that. We had 22 students at the Teen Art Fusion class. They participated in a presentation and demonstration by Javi Corte, who was here from Pamplona, Spain. 45 participants at the Children's Museum in Northern Nevada, open painting in the courtyard. 62 participants at the Make Your Own Whistle at Ogre's Home Pottery. They've become a great resource as well when we do these events. They always have a free hands-on activity for all ages. So just a little highlight of the numbers there, and then we have some pictures to look at. If you haven't seen the museum yet, it is a stunner. So this is a piece in progress. This is Greg Deal, who's out of Pueblo, Colorado, but he is Shoshone and Paiute from the Pyramid Tribe. So we've been wanting to work with him for years, and it finally worked out. It was a great collaboration with Josh and his team over at the Nevada State Museum. And the goal for this wall, not to go too long, originally Anna Camp, who's the liaison with the tribes, they really wanted to have 3 basket makers, not just Dot Solali. She's kind of become the face, and there are so many other women who were critical and important for that movement. And Greg just couldn't quite get the composition right, so we spent most of all one Saturday afternoon in a frenzy of texts between about 6 different partners, going back and forth, even down to the shade of black and red that are on the baskets. And I'll let you know, it's a very specific. Spent over an hour talking about shades of black, which is a new one for me. But it turned out absolutely fantastic. And the compromise we decided was to have the one composition of Dad up here. And then the museum was very happy that we're going to plan on doing another portrait each year until that entire wall is filled with important Native American basket makers. And that will tie in with the basket gallery that's going to be opening. They were hoping to have it done by the end of the year. Executive Director David Peterson and I were able to go over there and take a quick look at it. It's going to be a huge, huge draw. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to have that element at
Is
the
it a
museum.
permanent gallery they're doing? The basket gallery?
They're doing it. It's permanent. It's
Oh.
new. It's a new wing.
Great.
And can I jump in for
Yep.
just a second there? So if you know where the gift shop is, and you kind of break off right as you're coming in to the right, you have that little staircase over there. I think it was really being used for storage, more or less. It is such a cool, when you walk, you kind of go around the staircase and you come up to the landing. It's like a perfect, very intimate space to have that exhibition for the baskets up there. It's going to be incredible. And just to get them out from behind lock and key in the vault, such a wonderful opportunity for people to engage with the culture and the history of American Indians, in Nevada, but also in this specific region of Nevada. I couldn't be more excited, to see that come to life. So yeah, now we have this giant
Billboard
billboard
almost.
basically on this. And I have to say, I've opened my south-facing window, one of them, so I can see this every day. It's hot up there, right, with the sun beating down, but I have the shades open so I can see it every day. I just think it's God, it's just amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun to work with Greg, and we're already starting to work with the next native artist that we want to have for next year. And I think it's going to be just such an amazing collaboration to be able to work with these different artists from around the country and tie in all of that history that we have together. And then on the top right is the Fritch Elementary kids. On the bottom right, I put that in there. That's the north-facing side of our office at the it's Capital One. I want to say Capital One. It's not Capital One.
Remax? Or-
No, the
No.
Kaplan's business.
Oh, Kaplan. Oh, well, I just say the Kaplans, but yeah.
Our building.
Yeah, our building where our office is, yes.
And this is a young up and coming artist out of Utah named Cole Eisenhower. And the top, so he did a golden eagle and a mountain lion and a coyote. It was heavy on coyotes this year, not a lot of horses. That's always interesting. And then on the very top, those squiggly yellow lines, those continue through all three panels, and that's topography from the area,
Oh,
which I thought was a nice touch. The next page, we were able to bring Dave Titus up from Bishop, and he was very, very ambitious. Most of these artists are, and they're amazing. And we pick these walls and give them a budget and say, just pick the part of the wall that you want to do for that budget. And then they paint the entire wall, and it's amazing to watch them doing. But this piece really glows both in the early morning and at night. And that's the west-facing side of Bikesmith, which is just around the corner across from Purple Avocado. Yeah, great to have Dave on the crew. Next page, Heidi's Restaurant. This is south-facing. So that was, for those of you who have been around for a while, the owner wanted to have the mural that was there. It was originally painted in 1993. The north-facing side still has part of that mural. And so we brought in Bill Lewis, who's been a great partner. He's got Nevada roots. And he did it. It's not fun to paint from a picture of something that is just something that was there, but he came through for us and ended up spending 3 extra days on this piece as well. And it's stunning. He spent 2 days just doing this train piece. And this is a train that's in the museum here. And we decided that we didn't want to be selfish with murals, so we picked up Maya's Mind Saturday morning at 8 a.m. with a forklift and drove her across town. And she is now semi-permanently placed at the Brewery Arts Center campus, and this is on the west side of the Performance Hall. So Spike and I have been working together for the past year on developing a sculpture park. This is currently the third piece that's there. And for this part of the campus, we are going to try to get 5 pieces. This is 16 feet tall, 12 tons, comes apart in 2 pieces. So we want to end up getting 5 sculptures on that side that will be permanent. So that's a great new addition in it. She's facing not directly in front of the elementary school, but just a little bit kitty corner. And BAC staff is already working with the artist for programming over the next year to work with schools and literacy. So that'll be a nice tie-in. Then right around the corner, we have the new deer family. There's one that's almost finished, but not quite finished. Burke had to go over to Salt Lake City to paint a 5-story building. And he is coming back tomorrow, and he's hoping to finish that piece tomorrow. And that big thanks to the mayor and the board of supervisors and the cultural commission for helping make that happen, and Anna Freeman. And then the finished piece there, that's kind of a little bit blurry, but yeah, with the basket background, that's all designs from one of her baskets. So yeah, so a very exciting time. We saw tons of people come out. Those who were from out of town that were painting had an amazing experience and brought back the hospitality of Carson City to their communities. And so it really is a give and take in so many ways when we do these bigger arts and culture festivals. So thank all of you. Katie?
Eric, I have a question. Is there a way that this could be turned into a poster that locations that have the mural could encourage people to take a walking tour? And I know, for instance, we'd be delighted to post something so that because people ask all the time.
Yep. So we
Or a
put this
QR
map together
code.
and had so this has all the murals in town now, 58 points of interest, which is fantastic. So this event guide is going to be changed. We'll lose the events panel of it. We're looking at some different sizings for it as well and expanding the map so that all the pieces will be on a map for people to find easier. We did do free docent-led walking tours on Friday and Saturday. 4 tours altogether, over 85 people on those 4 tours. So there are elements of it that will be walkable. So we're planning on adding, it'll have the whole map and then a section that is most walkable to see the most murals. And the tours we were doing were 75 minutes, depending on how long we talked with the artists. So I like to keep it between an hour and a half for most people to walk.
What I meant is when we're not doing the tours, just to have a poster that's easy.
Yeah. So hopefully it will still be something like this, but it'll be larger. And then we'll highlight the walkable area. So we'll start at Brewery Arts and then have a nice circle to come back to.
Got it.
Because obviously you can't walk that whole thing. So
Yeah.
we'll probably divide it into 2. So it'll be that first square and then the second square.
The one thing we saw is a whole lot of people on bikes.
We did see a lot of
Yeah,
bikes,
so
which is
maybe
great.
there's a walkable and a bikeable.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'd love to have that up.
Any questions?
Are there any pictures of you driving around with city with a forklift?
So there are
And
not.
are you rated forklift driving?
We hired a professional forklift driver, Jeff Schomburg, who creates large-scale pieces from all over America. And he came in and he quoted us a price, but he hasn't invoiced BAC yet. So he's a great guy. But there's some videos that you want to watch with picking this piece up in 2 and placing it. And the artists themselves, one was wearing a broken pair of flip-flops, climbing on a ladder on the base of the books up to hook it was quite the experience all in all.
Very
But
good.
yeah, super fun. If there's no questions, I just want to say thanks again for all of your support in helping with these initiatives. This board is incredible in its support and participation, so thank you.
And Kitty, I'll jump in just to add something to your question. In the cultural corridor, there is a mapping piece that we will figure out with the InWeb app. So that may be something not only tying in all the different public art pieces in Carson City, but also anything in Virginia City, Silver City, and Carson Valley, non-lake, of course. So I think we might be able to accomplish some stuff for us, but then also kind of bring it all together on a regional basis where now you can have drive tours and people can visit the different communities. So, and then I would just like to say, 2 observations. First one is we are not the sole funder of this. As Eric mentioned, we're 10K, but they brought in another $50,000, which I think is incredible, right? Or 90, so another 83,000, sorry, beyond our $10,000 by the time you wrap all the value add stuff in there, which I think is just wonderful. And then I must say, talking with the artists on that weekend, they genuinely like being here in Carson City, and they feel like their work is valued by this community. And I think that's a testament to Eric and BAC and the city, for showing we're committed to building out our public art because they want to be here. They spent days and they're coming back and finishing. And so I think this is all around a really good thing for Carson City. So well done, my son. Well done. So, all right. With that, we will move on to 11D, Events and Sales Update. Mr. Wexler, take it away.
For the record, Stu Wexler, Visit Carson City. So I'm just going to go over the presentation outline of the NICA race, the Teams 24 show I was at. Of course, the Bonanza Kennel Club, and the Broncos Super Celebration we just had over this last weekend. And then we have the K9, Carson City Sheriff's K9, and our Nevada Day Powwow coming up. And then on a No Limits tournament organization out of Texas. So we're going to start with our NICA race that we had. So there was approximately 400 registered student riders that participated this year's race. 329 finished the race as compared to 278
as there were cancellations and some teams, some members had to cancel their coming out to Carson City. But we had about the same as what we had last year, approximately 1,500 spectators throughout the day watching the race, that, including parents, family members, and people that knew about the race that just wanted to come and watch. This was held at WNC, started there, and went on different parts of the land, BLM, city, Parks and Rec. So, and then we had the teams from Ely, Mammoth, and Bishop again participating this year. And as what I showed last month, the students love coming to Carson City to race. They just have a good time. It's a great track. And as you can see, they just really, really enjoy it. So, and they are going to be coming back again next year. This was the last leg of NICA's race in Carson City, so that was the finish of it. So then we're going to move on. So last month, I was in Anaheim, California for the first team show that we participated in. It was pretty amazing. And as you can see from our booth there, Lydia and Kay Cox did an amazing job putting our banners together. It's the first time we've ever done this type of show. And what's amazing is the sports organizations from all over the country that participate in this show. So we originally had 40 appointments scheduled. Then we had a couple cancellations. And unfortunately, due to the hurricane, we had about 5 or 6 that had to take off the last day. So because of the hurricane, there was a lot of hard time. People were having a hard time the last day of the show. And I have been trying to contact some of the people. Some of the people I have not had any response from that were in the Florida, North Carolina area. So we don't, little, you get a little concerned, but we don't know what happened to them, but I'm trying to keep in touch with them. But we did, out of the 38 appointments, I am working with about 5 or 6 organizations that are looking to come to Carson City in the amateur youth sports, in kickball, soccer, baseball, obviously, and even rodeo that goes around the country that would like to come to our area, obviously Fuji Arena, and put on a rodeo organization. So, and I also had, which was great, I had Scott Chapman from Parks and Rec that was with me. He was obviously the expert on the fields itself. A lot of specs that were asked of us about the type of fields, what we can do with the fencing, the height and all that. And Scott was actually amazing. And this was the first time he's ever been to a show like that, and he thought it was fantastic. A lot of interest in our area. Organizations coming that have participated in bigger cities and would, looking at what we presented in Carson, they are looking to come here probably 25, 26. So it's pretty amazing. And there was close to 400 sports events and organizations all over the country. We even had some from Puerto Rico that were there. They were interested in Carson, wanted to know more about Carson. Obviously, they're not familiar with this, but and I think there's a lot of potential for this type of show going forward as far as the organizations, especially in our fields and the type of fields we have. We also partnered with Lake Tahoe. They were right behind us, and they're a great partner. They do not, and South Lake do not have the greens that we do. So they were actually bringing people over that were looking for more greens, like in softball, senior softball. And for the organizations that we talked to that were more interested in arenas, we took them over to Tahoe, obviously, because of the Blue Event Center. So it's a great partnership. We're actually still working with them. As they get follow-ups, they're sending them over to us. And as I get the follow-ups for the larger organizations that look for more of a stadium-type events that we can handle, we send them up to Lake Tahoe. So it's a great partnership. And they have been going to this for quite a few years, and they highly recommend it. And I think it's going forward, it's a huge potential for bringing organizations to Carson City. So, any questions on that? Okay, and the next one obviously is our Bonanza Kennel Club. They've been here for a long time. Candy Roper's been heading this up, and she does a fantastic job. She works extremely hard putting this organization on and the event, and I really give her a lot of credit. We've had a lot of participants from California, Oregon, Idaho, Florida, Georgia, Texas. They were all over. They actually had one participant from Canada that was there at this show. So, and they all have a great time, and they really do enjoy coming to Carson City for this show. Total number of dogs, according to the American Kennel Club, for this year was approximately 600 plus or minus. Candy did tell me that during an election cycle, they will see less participants registered because they always look at what the outcome of the economy is going to be. So normally we could have 700 to 800 dogs registered, but she said because of the economy and not knowing how the economy is going to go, people have a tendency not to participate in an event like that. So I think for next year, after the elections are over, I believe we'll see a bump in the participant dogs that come to Carson. But 30% of participants were from 50 miles away, with about 17% from over 300 miles away. So Carson does draw a huge area outside of Carson City. So it's pretty amazing. And like I said, Candy's been doing this for a long time, and she does an amazing job putting this all together. So, and I don't know if any of you noticed over the weekend, we just had our Ford Super Celebration Bronco event here at Mills Park, and I was there most of the week, and I have to tell you, it was absolutely amazing to see the Broncos restored from the 60s, 70s. It's about 50-50, so it's 50% old, 50% new Broncos. So this was the second year. It was a 3-day event. They had a lot of vendor booths, activities. Capital Ford had a kiosk there, and they actually they raffled away a Bronco. I didn't win it, of course, but but they had them from Gold Country. They had it from San Diego. They actually had another Canadian that came down to participate in the Bronco, and they had venture rides, which I actually participated in a ride off to Prison Hill. And I got to tell you, if you've never been on a ride in one of those Broncos, it's a nail biter. It was amazing. It's amazing that we have this here in our own backyard. And the Bronco participants, there were some local from Reno, and they loved it. And I heard nothing but praise. Tom Broberg is the one who, him and his wife put all this together. They go around the country with these events, and they really believe Carson has potential to become pretty big. We capped it. They had about 50% more, so it's about 150 Broncos with about they said 10 to 15 late registrars. So they had come down from different areas that come in the last couple days to participate in this. They actually believe it can become as big as the one they have in Colorado, which is about 300 Broncos, is what they have. In Tennessee, they go up to 1,500 Broncos that come to these events. So, but if you notice, there was Broncos all over the city. Anywhere you drove, you saw Broncos. And some of the new ones are amazing, that the electronics they have in them. And the older ones were incredible. And the drivers, when you watch them go up Prison Hill, are amazing that they could actually drive these vehicles. I was riding shotgun with my eyes closed half the time, so. But it's pretty amazing. And any questions on the Broncos? They increased about, from what they had, about 15%. But 15, yeah. So what they want to do, they actually, the first 2 or 3 years, they want to grow it very slow because it takes a lot for them to maintain it, organize it, and staff it. So pretty much have a family that their family comes out to help them with the organization. So they didn't want to start huge and not be able to, have a great organization, great event. So probably I'm thinking by year 5, we were talking that we could see that growth of about 300 Broncos.
Good.
And then this coming weekend, the Carson City Sheriff's Office will have the K-9 Challenge, which is pretty cool to watch. It's the 3rd annual event, challenge and demo. It's going to be at Fuji. Starts around 9 a.m. and goes till about 4. The Move with the Mayor is back this year. Lori Bagwell, does the walking, get everyone going. So people do enjoy that, and it's pretty cool. But they're bringing together K-9 teams from numerous agencies, from Northern Nevada, a couple from Northern California. And this year, they're actually having the U.S. Navy participate out of Fallon, and Lockheed Martin Security from California will also be participating in this year's challenge. So, which they've never had that before. So it's actually fun. They'll go watch what the K-9s can do, the obstacle course, and especially when they put on the padded suit and they do the attack mode, and they, if someone's in danger, they watch them go down. So that's a lot of fun. And then the powwow for Nevada Day. It's hard to believe we're getting towards that time, but will be held at the MAC. It's going to be the 25th to 27th. And I talked to the coordinator, Martin Montgomery. He actually, last year we had 1,600 people on Friday, 4,000, according to Martin, 4,000 Saturday and 2,000 Sunday throughout the 3-day event at the MAC. He wasn't sure at this point, what we're going to have this year, but he'll let me know after the event's over. And then our last one, I've been working with No Limits Tournament out of Texas. And they are coming here in November next month to do a site tour of Carson. They want to look at Carson, obviously our fields, and it'll be a day or two, and then they want to bring 5 to 10 tournaments to Carson City this coming summer. So once they give me an exact date, I'll get together with Scott Chapman and Parks